What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Getting ready to crawl underneath or slide underneath on my creeper and start welding up. I got this thing sitting on the tires yesterday and things are looking pretty good, so I'm going to try and weld up and at least make things a little more solid before moving on. It's all just tacked still, and I'd hate for the tacks to break and kind of lose progress. So I'm gonna slide under there and weld that up. I'm not gonna mess with putting a camera in there because you can't see anything anyway. So yeah, that's on the agenda today. And then I did notice yesterday when I tacked those in, I welded this back a half an inch from where it's supposed to be, so that coil's crooked. So I need to move it forward. I think I've lined it up on the line instead of on the weld, and on the other side I did the weld. So anyways, I got to do that, but just kind of some busy work today just to make things a little stronger so I can keep moving on. Sat down this morning and made a list of things to do, and I'm just going to start working them through that list and keep making progress on this thing. Just want to take a second and thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed, it would help me a whole bunch if you would subscribe if you like what I'm doing. You know, share it if you want to. I love responding to comments. I try to respond to every single comment that's made. Any questions, feel free to ask. Any constructive criticism or just things you want to point out, go ahead, make a comment. I love going back and forth with this stuff. So anyways, hit that subscribe button and I'll get to work. All right. Well, did some welding under this thing. I didn't weld anything 100%, but I did put quite a few other welds on it just to make it stiff enough that I don't have to worry about things falling apart. I did move that mount forward, and I've been trying to figure out where to mount shocks on this thing because there is no real estate. My dad was here last night, and that shock fits through that mount, and I might just have to trim the bottom of it to open that hole up some to where this thing can move side to side just a little bit. But I think I'm going to try and build a bracket like that. My bottom spring capture plate down here, I can just weld some tabs up off of it and put a bolt through down there, and then the upper I just have to build a 1/8 inch by 2 inch strap that would come up over and back down and weld on, and I could mount that up into there. So we'll see. I might end up doing that. I just kind of slapped it in there to see if it would work. Otherwise, there's just no real estate to mount a shock on this thing. So, and then I looked, and there's actually some room on the inside of the frame rail in here where I might be able to build bump stops. So got that. And then the rear, I welded the truss up a bit and put some stouter welds up there on the uppers. All the frame side mounts are welded probably at 50-60%. Just trying to stiffen everything up so I don't have to worry about things popping and falling apart while I'm trying to work on it. Wouldn't you know it, we're working on trying to get the steering box mounted, and the welder gives up. And so I go looking for parts, and the soonest I can have them, if I order them, is a week. And either that or I can drive, and hopefully they have them at a welding supply store. But it's the trigger switch for my welder. And so I tore it apart. I pulled the micro switch out of the actual trigger, tore everything completely down, hit it with some brake clean, and checked it again. It was just dirty inside, but I mean, I've had this welder for 13 years. So yeah, just dirty inside. Cleaned it out real good, and then I hit it with WD-40 to get some sort of a coating on the inside. And it seems to be making contact now. I'm gonna put it back together, and hopefully it works. Well, let's see if this works. Haha, yes. Right on. I'm glad that worked because that was annoying. What's up, YouTube? I didn't video anything yesterday. It was a lot of head scratching and not a whole lot of progress. Plus I had a friend show up. He's putting a wrap on his snowmobile, and he's got his daughter here, and I didn't want to video during that, but I also had to get some stuff done. So what I did accomplish though is the steering box. I ended up getting it mounted. I had to use some pipe to slug through the frame because the frame's going to be my air tank, so I need to make sure that it's airtight. But steering box is mounted. Now I'm working on getting the grill and tranny cooler and radiator and everything mounted. And yeah, just plugging away on the small stuff. It's nice having a friend here that can lift stuff when I can't. Alright, so I'm kind of plugging along with this thing, and I had to French the headlight buckets a lot because that's where that tranny cooler rides. But they're actually, let's see, which side is this? This was that side. They actually fit in there pretty nicely. I have dealt with this in the past before, so I actually knew how to do that on my other Jeep. But everything clears, and I think I'm going to bolt the radiator and the tranny cooler to the grill with some rubber between everything, so that they can't rub and wear holes in each other. So it's kind of where I'm at, trying to get that stuff located. And you know, once that grill is on and located with everything mounted to it, I can start building my hood and my fenders, which I'll probably build the fenders first, but we'll see. Might be nice to not have the fenders in the way for trying to shape that hood. So anyways, making some progress. Sorry I'm not videoing all this stuff. It's so slow, and basically you're gonna watch me stand there and stare at it. So it's not even worth it. As I come across things that are helpful tips, then I will pass those on, just like Frenching the headlight buckets and stuff like that. But yeah, it's coming along. We're making some progress. Good morning, YouTube. I'm out in the shop again today, obviously. And today we're going to be working on getting this stuff mounted. I just have some pieces of tie wire holding it kind of together, rough fitting it. One issue I ran into is the radiator wants to hit the steering box on the other side, but the radiator is narrow enough that I could bump it this way about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, and it won't be centered, but I don't care. From the front you can't tell because the tranny cooler takes up the whole grill anyway. And then on this side, yeah, it needs to move over a little further and up from where it's sitting, but you can see it's on the steering box there, so it'll go over that way a little bit, make a little bit of room. Before I get to actually mounting anything, I actually need to pull the grill off, take it all back apart, pull the lights, and I need to straighten it. This thing is bent really bad on that side, so we got to straighten that out, and then we'll have a good canvas to be working with. Hopefully we can get the mounts and stuff done on that today, and I can be moving on to the next little project. tried to take a little bit of video today. It's all hyperlapse stuff. Just it's like I've already said, it's a lot of head scratching and stuff like that. So my friend was here, turned him loose, doing some cutting and welding and all that stuff, and we got a few things done. I'll show you. So they're just crude brackets right now, but our tranny cooler is mounted to the grill, and the grill is set at its correct height, I do believe. One thing was, you know, I had to build an 1.5 inch tall spacer off the frame rail up to get the grill to the right height. So we took a chunk of 2x3 rectangle tube, split it down the middle, so it's roughly 1.5 inches. I mean, I know it's a little bit less than that, but on this side, when I did the steering box, there's a weld seam right here, and I had to grind it out, and there's no way to gusset that with those bolts coming through, and I didn't like that. So instead of just having this little 1.5 inch bump up here, we decided to run that all the way back past. So we got about 4.5, 5 inches of additional tubing on top, and there'll be weld all the way across the top, inside and out, to stiffen that. I'll probably end up doing some sort of a gusset on the bottom down here, and I don't know if I'll need to out here, but we'll see. There's also the pitman arm that swings over there, so that's kind of in the way. But anyways, yeah, I got the radiator mounted, got those bump ups just kind of roughed, seeing how it would work. Gonna do the same on this side. So there'll be a lot more weld surface, and it'll stiffen up two separate weld seams, and I feel a lot more comfortable with doing that. So tomorrow I go get the seats. It's about 7 hours of driving to go get those, and so I'm not gonna get anything done on it then, but I'm hoping Saturday that I can get the radiator mounted behind that, and I can start actually building fenders and a hood and getting that stuff figured out. But we'll see. That's gonna be a pretty big project, and I might end up switching gears and doing something different. But at least the Jeep's coming along. It's on the casters and shoved over into the other corner now. So I've got a lot more room in this shop to host the diaper party. And yeah, if you like what we're doing, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Every little bit helps. I appreciate everyone that does watch, and hopefully this thing's gonna start really coming together over the next couple months, and it'd be great to have it done for this next fall. Don't know if it'll happen. Once the baby gets here, we'll see how much time I have to work on it. So anyways, stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.